Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, it's Friday today. We hand the reins over to the BonBon buddies over on Patreon and say, hey, vote me in a map, and they've gone with this one. It is a creator request map, a creator we've done 3 times in the past, back in episode 634, 763 and 769, where they got 7, then 11, and then 9 stars respectively. Which meant I wasn't expecting too much from the map, kind of knew the creator's level, and how wrong I was. I am very pleasantly surprised. Definitely the best map from this creator so far, and it really does give that proper, fresh, spring-like Nordic feel. And if you like a fresh Nordic feel, well, you kind of know what to do, don't you? That's right, clicking that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Standingwater by Harjawalder. Standingwater, I think this map could have done better with a more Nordic name, but Standingwater sounds more like a Native American name to me. There's your start square. We've got a couple of really good start spots in there with the roundabouts, and then all of the terrain heights, all of them, they're all in there. Get plenty of flat build space as well. And then we have the resources, which are centered on the 25 tiles and look really good, actually. Really pleased with those. And then we have the fishing, and if you're into your fishing, then we have fishing, and there it is. Right, off to the workshop we go. No DLC required today, and we have a short list of required items, which is the 81 tile mod. I would say not really required, but there are bits out there you might want to make use of. We'll be using the Boreal Summer theme, the Spitfire LUT, and you will need network extensions too, which of course you'll need to activate in the content manager. Well, there's a one-click collection. Now, these things aren't strictly required, most of these. They're mostly plants and stuff, but there's plenty of vanilla stuff, so you won't have a completely bland, blank map if you don't subscribe to this stuff. But, of course, highly recommended that you do. Then we get down to the bottom. There is also linked in, on top of the Spitfire LUT, the Satellite LUT. If you want a more chilly Nordic vibe to the map, you should go with that one. Right, okay, let's go down to a ground level and have a look at this, and it's good work. There's a couple of grumbles with this map, and they'll come up, well, first one will come up fairly soon, but I do want to talk about these 2 highways, the 3-lane on one side, the 2-lane on the other. This is really good work, and you guys educated me to this, a couple of years ago, which is the 3rd lane on the right hand side there. That is for the trucks going up at a slower speed, because it's a long, slow climb, and trucks will be going slow, so they'll go into the slow lane and everybody will be able to overtake in the 2 lanes of the fast lane. Meanwhile, going down the hill, the trucks will be able to go at the same speed as the rest of the traffic, so 2 lanes is enough. Now we'll notice a little bit of a road terrain glitching going on the side here. It happens a little bit here and there on the map. It's not horrendously bad, and of course if you've got Move It, easily fixed. Select the node, and about 7 taps required there, and it brings it back down and level. We are kind of off away from the 25 tiles here. It's not the biggest problem, but it is a feature area. As you can see, we've got great lanes, lane merging, lane splitting going on here, and a little side road going off to the dam. So it's kind of a feature area, so I would want it kind of cleaned up, ideally. Again here, great lane splitting here, 2 lanes up to 3 lanes with the slip lane, and then we have a separated highway ramp going off there to the right, digging onto the dirt track, which will take you back over the bridge, and then merges back down to 3, and then closes back down to 2. It's very nicely done indeed. The mix of foliage, my first instinct was there should be more pines and stuff, but this is actually covered in the description, and they've explained the exact location and the climates here, and apparently these are about right. And I'm not going to grumble. I don't live there. I believe you. I genuinely do. So yes, we'll just follow the highway down and just like booming it down. Oh, lovely views. And you can see we've got a great elevated section with a bridge coming up. This is good work. In fact, you're going to be really pleased with the intersections on this map. Looking at the terrain, we are very hilly and rocky, and getting intersections, building intersections, not too much of a problem, but some people even struggle to get them looking really slick on a flat map. Working them into elevated terrain, now that requires skill. This bridge is great. Look at that. Perfect location, perfect height, and you expect there'd be shipping through there. You'll find out later if there is. Heading down to our first intersection, proper intersection, and look at how slick and lovely this is. This is really nice. I mean, it's an ugly bit of work in terms of you don't really want all those roads in the beautiful countryside, do you? But it's very well constructed. This is really nice. The spaghetti is tight and true. The heights of the bridges are spot on. We've got no street lamp clipping. We've got no pillars in the roads anywhere. This is good. This would have taken some time. I tell you, this would have taken quite some time. That links you down to the start square, but we're going to go the long way to another entrance into the start square. So we'll carry on moving, carrying on and upwards in towards the hills. Bit of more of the road terrain glitching going on there. Not going to fix anymore. You've seen how I've done it, and you'll know how to do it yourselves. Now, coming up here, got a couple of tunnel entrances. Got a minor grumble here. Minor grumble. A couple of minor grumbles. You've got a slight bit of terrain elevation into the tunnel. I'd like to see it going in flat rather than going in on a slope. But also, we've got 3 lanes on the right. Okay, remember, there's 3 lanes on the right. And it exits over here as a 2-lane exit. Now, for me, in this country, once you get into a lane in a tunnel, they like you to stay in the lane in the tunnel. And to have a lane merging under the tunnel, I just find a little bit counterintuitive. Okay. Having said that, in the past, we've seen underground tunnels where you get lanes merging and intersections and so. So I'm not going to be hypercritical about it, but I'm just going to suggest that probably if it had gone in 2 lanes and come out 2 lanes, I would have been slightly happy about it. Plus, of course, network extensions to tunnels are fully rendered, and the 3-lane tunnel is just a standard vanilla one, and it just clunks out, and it would look prettier as well. Anyway, we have more tunnels going on here, and they nip out on the other side, around about here somewhere, and we're coming out into more scenic locations, heading down towards Start Square territory as well, but not quite there yet, because we've got the big old river, and the water on this map, it's called Standingwater, and it's great, but this intersection blew me away. I was not expecting this. Okay, it's just a standard T-split intersection. That's probably got a more correct name than that. But again, it's worked so well into the terrain. It is really very nicely done indeed. All the ramps are on point. All the slopes are good. There's no clunky bits. I'm really super impressed by all of this. Now, I do need somebody to come down here and start building a city ASAP, because we do need to have a refuge tip or an incinerator or something, because this church over here has already got a whole pile of garbage cans. I need to sort that one out. I've got a mod for it, but I haven't reactivated it since doing Biff's challenge. So yes, we need to get those collected. A really nice, pretty location there for that little plopped church. Again, if you haven't subscribed to it, it doesn't matter. You could do anything there, but it's just a nice little touch. We've got the power lines here. We do have a couple of sources of power, which we'll check out a little bit later on in today's show. And we've got pretty much everything in place to start building right off the bat. Coming down here to a perfect height. Again, this bridge here, simple, effective, and the perfect height above the water, I feel, for its needs. And this is Start Square territory now. There's your Start Square little mini roundabout. We have another one over there, which is the other access route that we could have taken. And what do we have in the Start Square? Does anybody remember? Oh, an asset, or in this case, 9 assets. It's the Greek House and Shop Pack by Chackson. And it's always good to get assets from different parts of the world as well. These first 4 are shops, the next 5 are houses, and we'll do a full loop. And while we're doing the loop, I'll do a factoid, because factoids. Okay, the Scottish explorer Dr. David Livingstone died on this date, the 1st of May, May Day, in 1873. His body was brought back to England and buried in Westminster Abbey, which is like where they'd marry. yeah, they do marry all the kings and queens and stuff there. And anyway, yeah, but his heart literally remained in Africa, where he had spent so much of his life, because it was cut out and buried under a tree. I'm hoping that they like planted the tree on top of it rather than like tried to bury it under the tree, because the roots would have got in the way, I feel. But anyway, that's lovely. Dr. David Livingstone died today, all those years ago. Bless you, sir. Right, okay, so Greek House and Shop pack by Chackson. Great asset pack here, but I just want to show you something in a moment. Let me bring this up and spin it around as usual. Do the whole spin and lift it back around. Got a nice little set there. Now, Chackson's obviously a good creator, possibly a great creator, but there's a couple of minor little LOD faults, LOD faults here that I want to show you. Note this building second from the end here. Note that one. And note this one. Chackson, if you're watching this, I'm not being critical here, just trying to help you out, my friend. And this one at the end here, right? Note those two particular builds. When we pull back, watch the LOD on them. And they pop, and the one on the end there becomes really flat. Considering you normally see these from further out, the one on the far left becomes sort of transparent, and you can see like the two rear walls of it from whatever angle you go. But anyway, Chackson's Greek House and Shop pack, an amazing little set. An amazing little set, but yeah, not being critical, just trying to help these creators out where I can. But really good to see, and I'm sure anybody trying to do like a European build with all of Armesto's assets and whatever, those will fit in quite nicely. I know they're Greek, and you know, Armesto could be Spanish or Italian or whatever, but it's all Greek to me. Boom, boom. Here's you've got your picnic area, a lovely little picnic area. And in case you're worrying if it's a picnic area, it is, because we've got picnic tables. Look at the views. Look at, sorry, street lamp. Look at the views. Look at the views. You can smell the fresh air. You can smell the clean air in this map. Just smog it up with industries. Go on, I dare you. I dare you to. Anyway, yeah, heading off into the mountains. It just feels so realistic in terms of these mountains. Obviously, I'm not too far from the Scottish Highlands. I am quite away from the Scottish Highlands, but yeah, these mountains do remind me. I did live in Ireland for a little while, way back as a child, and the Mourne Mountains, kind of like the same sort of vibe I was getting for there. Obviously, that slightly different evolution here. We've got again slight inclines into those ramps there, but we are right on the edge of the map, sort of in the fog, and again that doesn't really bother me too much that far out, because you won't be seeing it. We've got a little bit of rail, there's not much, and it is quite nicely handled. Okay, we've got a little tunnel coming through here, and the rail, it just feels like it kind of belongs. Got a little elevated section there because it needs to be, and well, it doesn't need to be because, you know, game physics, but I appreciate that there is an elevated section there. Then we got a long underground section, which does kind of hide the fact that there's a bit of drop of elevation, but that doesn't matter too much because it's over a long distance and you're not really going to notice, and I don't mind that, but true realists might have a bit of a grumble. And then this emerges over here to a bit of fresh air down by this pool, and the jetty. We'll be checking that out a bit later as well. Plenty to talk about in today's show because there's so much work gone into this one. And we've got room down here even for a station with the power lines moved out, just to give a little bit of room there. Very nice indeed. Hi, BonBon here. If you're a big fan of Let's Plays but are bored with the same old cities, I can highly recommend checking out This Old Gamer, a Let's Play worth watching. Click the information button now to find out more. And back to Standingwater by Harjawalder, and we have shipping routes. We have a little one that comes into this little fjord here, and it dead ends. You can see the essential lighthouses. We won't even be looking at essential lighthouses today. This is how much other stuff there is to look at. A couple of shipping routes here come in with a little A connection, and yes, they do go through that bridge, that beautiful bridge. Little dead end over there, little dead end over there, and that works really nicely for me as well. Good work. Water flow. They say standing water, and yet the water is not standing. There are a couple of pools, granted to that one, but we've got a really lovely wide, wild, I would say actually, a river system. I mean, not wild in terms of its incredible rapids or anything like that, but it just is untamed, and it's loose and wide and just really scenic. Also, we've got some, you can see we've got some water pipes in place down at the start location as well. So it's pretty good and pretty, well, it's just set to go, isn't it? All told, the map really does feel super realistic. It's just got a real vibe to it. We've got the buildable space in the start square here, but if we come across away from the start square, I want to show you some of these little bits of extra water. Now, this one's coming down from the dam, and this is the other problem with the map. And again, it don't matter, because are you really going to be looking at this? But up here, we've got a little dead end with the roundabout here. And you will notice, and this was perfect timing, this is constantly flooding with the waves that are coming through the dam. It floods, it clears, and then it floods again. That's an ongoing thing. Easy to fix, just raising that land up just a couple of notches and you'll be sorted. Again, not the biggest problem in the world, but does need mentioning. Got great views over here. In fact, we've got these dirt tracks here. We've got one that comes down to a little castlet. A castlet, okay, little tower here. Castlet is what it is. Love the positioning of the doorway there. Note, positions of the doorways are important in props that have no effect on the game at all, but they are. They are. Let's face it. There's no other way of saying it. It's like having that imperfect cell where you're trying to actually zone something in. It won't zone how you want it to. You will get it right. You will force it to work. Got another castlet up here as well. Castlet's a new word. And again, perfect positioning of that door and a great view over the reservoir there. Very nice indeed. Still plenty of things to look at. We won't be able to see everything, obviously, because there's just too much. What should we go for next? Should we come down the side of this mountain here? And I'll just look at this. Just look at the rivers. Let's do another river. Let's do another river. I want to do another river. Let's do a river. Right, should we follow up this way? And look how wide it is and how well controlled the water is as well. Got a little fishing jetty here. I recommend not launching a boat from here because look at it, it's really well clipped into the ground as well. But yeah, don't launch a boat there because you don't want to be going down that river. It looks a bit hazardous to me. But yeah, do your fishing off of that. And then if we come up here, we've got a split in the river here where it just gets really marshy and boggy over. You've just got a little bit of water coming through here. It's great, just beautiful, random. I mean, it's kind of random in the way that the marshes are just splattered here and there, but they work so well. And there's your water spawn. It's there and it's hidden as a kind of like a sprawling little lake. That works. There's so many things that work. Look, rocks. Look at the rock work here. Look how, oh, it's just, again, really beautiful. Love that mountain. The shape of that mountain is excellent, actually. We've got a lot of wild wilderness going on. We do have over here, I told you about power sources. Obviously, we've seen the dam. And we have got the wind farm as well. But look at the terrain here, how this looks totally alien. Yet, you could believe that this is just the way inland. It's drier, it's away from the water. And then we've got some standing water there. There's your standing water. I promised you we'd find some standing water. Well, I didn't promise you, but just pretend I promised you, okay? Yes, I promised you. Oh, now we're all in agreement. We've got some really lovely waterways as well. And another one here, in fact, I'm going to show you this one because I think up here we've got an interesting way of disguising a water spawn point. Again, it's just not overdone. And again, with some lovely, believable river splits going on here. Going around the rock there, and it's just well controlled. A lot of time's been spent with this. And look at the spawn point here. Again, it's just done as like a marshy, boggy area, and that's just a way of hiding it. It's done very well indeed. But what do you think? Enough of me. What do you think of this map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewers' Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. What do I think? please, please, please. This is first day of May. This has got to be. If this isn't one of the best maps of the month, then basically we're going to have a great May. Aesthetically, it looks really good. It looks really, really good. I don't know why I'm not feeling it as a 5-star map. I don't know why, but I do. I love it. It's a really strong 4-star map for me. Detailing is across the whole very good indeed. Just got a couple of things like the tunnels could be tidied up, and we've got the road terrain glitching and a little bit of flooding, but it's all good. 4 stars for detail. Gameplay potential. I don't have no problems with this. I don't have any problems with it at all. I think there's a few of you would like just a little bit more build space in the start area, but in the valley, a little bit more might help. Just a little bit, but it's still very strong. I'm going 4 stars for gameplay as well. High 4. So, Standingwater by Harjawalder. That is an excellent map, and I love it. I love it enough to give it the BonBonB seal of approval. That's how much I love it. Wow, that's surprising. Harjawalder, you have come on leaps and bounds, my friend. From that first map review where you got the 7 stars to 12 stars, that and the seal of approval, you are now in the big time. I want to see more just like that. Well done. Well, thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing, for joining me for this little fly through. Recorded very late. I've only got an hour and a half to get this uploaded to the workshop. I need to get back on top of my workload. Biffer, I blame you. I blame you for everything.